Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, your go-to place for deep dives into South African politics, bold commentary, and the stories behind the headlines. Today, we're unpacking a political storm brewing in Parliament that could have massive implications for the government of national unity, national spending plans, and the future of democratic processes in our country. Tensions are boiling over in the halls of Parliament, and for good reason. Three major opposition parties, the Democratic Alliance, DA, the Economic Freedom Fighters, EFF, and Umkhonto we Sizwe, MK, party, are gearing up for a legal showdown against what they describe as a deeply flawed and undemocratic passage of the national budget. According to them, what should have been a robust debate over South Africa's financial future was instead a rushed, opaque process driven by President Cyril Ramaphosa's administration and the newly formed Government of National Unity, or GNU. Let's start with what exactly happened. The national budget, which determines how billions of rands will be spent across healthcare, education, infrastructure, social grants, and more, was recently passed in Parliament, but not without controversy. The opposition claims the process was steamrolled without proper consultation or meaningful debate. They're saying that Parliament, the one place where diverse voices should be heard, was reduced to nothing more than a rubber stamp for the executive's plans. DA Chief Whip Siviwe Gwarube was among the first to sound the alarm. She declared that the DA believes this budget was passed illegitimately and without the required engagement from opposition lawmakers. She called it a blatant disregard for democratic process. Parliament is meant to be a platform for thorough discussion, she said. Not a ceremonial body that simply approves whatever the ruling party puts forward. And she's not alone. The EFF's firebrand leader Julius Malema echoed those sentiments, stating that the budget process lacked transparency and legitimacy. He even went as far as saying that the EFF would not allow a budget that doesn't reflect the will of the people to stand uncontested. This matter will go to court if it has to, he warned. But what's even more explosive is the stance taken by the MK party, led by none other than former President Jacob Zuma, a man known for shaking up the political establishment. Zuma's MK party, through its spokesperson Lamulon Lila, declared that they are already consulting legal experts to determine whether the entire budget process violated parliamentary laws and constitutional procedures. Lila didn't mince words either. He claimed the ruling party and its GNU partners had no legal or moral authority to push through a national budget without following due process. This is a matter of national importance, he stated. We cannot allow a scenario where the government bulldozes key financial legislation without oversight or accountability. So, what does all of this mean for South Africa? If these opposition parties go ahead with their planned legal action, we could be looking at a full-blown constitutional crisis. A court battle over the national budget could delay vital government spending programs, from paying public servants to funding social grants and infrastructure projects. It could also further destabilize the already shaky GNU, which is a fragile coalition trying to hold together various political interests under one roof. Now let's zoom out for a moment. Why is this such a big deal? Because the national budget isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet, it's a reflection of our nation's priorities. It determines who gets funding, who gets left behind, and how we address key challenges like poverty, unemployment, and economic recovery. A budget passed without due process risks eroding public trust in our institutions and could set a dangerous precedent for future administrations. Critics argue that President Ramaphosa's GNU is starting to resemble more of a centralized power machine than a unity-driven coalition. With ANC remnants still dominant, and opposition voices increasingly sidelined, many fear that the very foundation of South Africa's multi-party democracy is under threat. Let's not forget, this is also unfolding in a highly polarized political environment. The ANC is trying to hold on to control despite dwindling support, while the EFF, DA, and MK party are all vying for influence, power, and the support of an increasingly disillusioned electorate. Any sign that constitutional principles are being sidestepped, especially on something as crucial as the national budget, will only fan the flames of political distrust and populist anger. And here's another layer: if the courts find the budget was indeed passed through improper procedures, it could result in it being declared invalid, a move that would throw South Africa into uncharted legal and economic territory. Think credit downgrades, funding delays, market instability. The knock-on effects could be massive. At the same time, this showdown might become a litmus test for the strength and independence of South Africa's judiciary. Will the courts uphold the rule of law and hold the GNU accountable? Or will they defer to executive power in the name of political stability? And what about the people, the millions of South Africans who rely on the government to deliver basic services, jobs, housing, and security? Will they once again be caught in the political crossfire, paying the price for elite squabbles and procedural shortcuts? As all of this unfolds, one thing is clear: the fight over the budget is much more than a technical dispute. It's a battle for the soul of South Africa's democracy. This story is still developing, and we'll be following every twist and turn. Will the courts intervene? Will the GNU backtrack? And what strategies will the opposition parties use to bring this issue to the national stage? What do you think, South Africa? Do you believe the budget was passed illegally? Is the GNU centralizing too much power? And do you trust the opposition to hold the government accountable? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. We want to hear from you. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on the latest developments in South African politics. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay critical. See you next time.